By oh, thank you. During this first session presented or given by Dr. Mathieu Ouedraogo, we had a very good introduction about what is climate information service and what is climate smart agriculture. He went back in the definition of what is it practically, and we could see the kind of climate options, talking about weather smart activities, talking about water smart activity, seeds in terms of breeding. This is really deep into the kind of seeds that are adapted to climate change. And he also mentioned the fact that climate change is region specific. So sometimes when we acquire this type of knowledge, is meant to be adapted, packaged in such a way that it meets the needs or the requirements of our neighborhood or our local milieu. So it was also important. Yeah, could you? Yeah, thank you very much. He also showed us some examples of water management practices across Africa and some example of climate smart practices on the post-harvest activities. And this was really interesting to put us in the context to see and almost touch the benefits of climate smart agriculture. In conclusion, we may say that for this first session, it was important to understand that CSA and climate information systems are really essential pillars for sustainable and adaptive agriculture, and integration of these tools accelerate transformation towards climate smart livelihoods. And climate resilience in Africa requires coordinated efforts to innovate to innovative solutions, and then collaboration among government, researchers, private sectors, farmers is critical to address the key constraint to the adoption of climate smart agriculture and climate information systems. Today, we are going to dive deep in what is business model in terms of CIS and climate smart agriculture with Dr. Desiree Kagabo. And we should always notice that in terms of climate information system, it's important to know how the information is generated, how this information is processed, and how this information is shared, and to what level this information is used to get the feedback to ensure that we are meeting the objective where we are going to. So by saying that the big question now is how do we increase the production by 60 to 70%, given the climate conditions that are now changing. For this, one thing is sure is that we are going to be smart. For this second session, we will have Dr. Desiree Kagabo to show us and bring us deeply in the aspect of the topic. So here, I'm Bebel Gepi, knowledge management practitioner, Cameroon country representative of the Young Professionals for Agricultural Development, YPAD, and I'll handle here the floor to Dr. Desiree Kagabo for his presentation. But just before his presentation, a short questionnaire is going to be shared with you. Is kind of to assess your knowledge before we start the training, to understand where are we in terms of climate information system and climate smart agriculture. And I would like also to remind you that this is a bilingual session, and you have translation in French if you are French speaking. Or just go down your screen, you click on the plus, and you'll find a globe that will help you to choose the language that suits you best. And a last precision is that to be awarded a certificate for this training, you must attend the 3 sessions, like the one happened 3 days ago. This is the second, and we'll have the third session on the 25th. For the meantime, please, I would like the technical team to share the pre-assessment test, and afterwards, we are going to welcome Dr. Desiree Kagabo for our session. Thank you very much. I can see that people started feeling that's great. We have 3 minutes for this exercise, so good, 3%. We are growing. So before we start the training, it's always very interesting to understand how knowledgeable are we about the topic. Yeah. Is it something that is new? Is it something that we heard about? Is it a field where we are already experts? Because there is a community of practice that have been set up for this purpose. So we are all going to join this community of practice, and the link will be shared anytime soon in the chat box for all of you who are participating to join the community of practice for further engagement. This is very important. We have more than 100 participants, and the number keeps growing. At the level of the pool, we are still at 48%. Let's continue filling it. It would be good to reach at least 70%. %57%. Let's keep pushing. Climate information systems, climate smart agriculture. Is it familiar? Is it just interesting? Have I heard about it before? Am I knowledgeable enough about the topic? Am I an expert in the field? Do I have knowledge, or do I have information? Am I a practitioner? We are 68%. Yeah, the percentage is keeping growing. It's good we have the maximum of people participating. Do I apply it in which field? It's very important. Thank you very much for your answers. We hit 70%. That's great. It's good to have the trends of the knowledge that we have in hand. And this is very interesting that because we assess at the end with the post-test, remember, at the end of this, we are going to share with you another poll to share again your thoughts about the knowledge that have been acquired. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Desiree Kagabo, the scientist in climate action for Alliance of Bioversity and CIAT. Thank you very much. Dr. Desiree, you have the floor. Could you please share the presentation?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. So I was muted to some extent.
Okay.
Hello. Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see your screen. Please.
Presentation mode?
Yes. No,
Okay.
maybe you should put it in the presentation mode now.
Oh, okay. Come. Okay, can you see it? I want to confirm before I go.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, everyone. And thanks to Babel for this short introduction. As he said, my name's Desiree Kagabo, and I work for Alliance Bioversity and CIAT as a scientist in climate action. And today I will be indeed discussing with you through this session about bundling climate information services and climate smart agricultural solutions. So I will try to avoid the jargons, the abbreviations, so I'll be articulating the full abbreviations that are in this presentation, considering that looking at the assessment that we have conducted. So most of the people about these concepts, they have just said that maybe the majority are not familiar or slightly familiar. So this implies that, so I need to be articulating, being straightforward, trying to avoid the jargons and everything else. So I welcome everybody. Thank you. And the presentation actually has 4 components. The first component, we will discuss key concepts and definitions of business bundles. around climate information services and climate smart agriculture practices with other agricultural advisory services. The second one is going to be the benefits of bundled climate information services and climate smart agriculture. The third chapter or component of this presentation is business models and value chain overview, the ecosystem of this value of these business models. And then finally, we will discuss successful bundled climate information services and climate smart agriculture, and indeed their outputs across Africa. To start,
Dr. Desiree, could you please, excuse me, adjust your display mode so that it covers the full screen?
Pardon? Oh, it's
could
not
you
the
please
full
adjust
screen.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me use the full screen.
Kindly go to the display settings.
So here it's actually giving a different display from what I'm
Yes, the
familiar with.
display settings at the top. Or you can use that side too and say hide presentation where you went earlier, the three dots.
I'm not being displayed on my end.
The three dots you went earlier.
Oh, yes.
Or the display settings at the top. Yeah.
Oh. What is the full screen?
Go to your left. See at the top, we have show tax bar, display settings, and end slideshow. So go to the middle one.
Donc, vous pouvez voir sur votre écran qu'il y a juste en bas de nos images trois onglets. On a Show Taskbar, on a Display Settings et puis End Slide. Donc, vous pouvez cliquer sur Display Settings qui est au milieu, en haut, juste en dessous de nos images, docteur.
So it's still not showing the full screen. Can you see the full screen now?
Yes. Super.
Oh, fantastic.
C'est correct. Merci beaucoup.
It's done. Okay, good. So,
Yes.
sorry for the. Okay, so to start, I just displayed on this slide 3 photos that are actually put side by side. And from this photo, you can see that there are 3 innovations that are displayed. The first one is crop insurance services. The second one is climate information services and market services. And then the third one is agricultural inputs. So the question is that looking at this picture, what do you see? So I will just say, okay, both sides. And then we have crop insurance services that is displayed. We have climate information market services that is displayed. And then we have agricultural inputs that are displayed. These are put in one slide, but all these innovations, they stand on their own. So the next slide, it's a picture. So the 3 innovations have been merged. So what does this mean to you? So there, the 3 innovations seems now to be combined to create a single package that can be provided or sold together. So now I'm just trying to use these examples to actually visualize you know, the aspect of bundle or the aspect of bundling or of packaging. So now from this photo, the three innovations looks to be one photo. So we have bundled, we have put together all the three innovations, and anyone can actually provide them as a single package, you know. So this is the process, this is the concept actually of bundling. So what does bundling means? In the simplest way, the bundling means a product or a service bundle is grouping any of individual products or services that can be sold separately, but are sold together. So from the photo or the picture that I showed, the three innovations or the three practices can actually indeed be sold each individually. But in the process of bundling, we provided them as we sold them or we provided them together. So the next one, items in the bundle don't have to be similar. From the photo that I presented, you have seen that there were climate information services products, agricultural inputs, and so forth. So they are different. They don't have to be similar to form a bundle. Yeah. So there are two types of bundling. The first one is compulsory. So here I'm using the names farmer because we're working for farmers, but it could be anyone. So being obligatory is that whoever wants this product must take one product when they use another service. An example, getting insurance automatically when they receive inputs or credit. So we have got several services. Whenever we use an example of subsidies where a government is promoting certain commodities, such as, I will use an example of potatoes, maize. So the package that the government is providing is that whoever is subscribed to the subsidies of growing improved seeds of maize, improved the seeds of beans, potato, automatically has the access to weather and climate information or to discounted crop insurance scheme. So those are the things. So the obligation is that you must have to grow potato and the maize for you to have access. So this is a compulsory bundle. So the second one is a voluntary. So farmers choose from a list of optional products and services offered together as a package. So these are the typical bundles that we have. So the other one is why climate information services and the climate smart agriculture services, such as insurance, finance, and the other agro-climate advisory services. The reason is that they make services easier for farmers to access and understand. The second reason, they just help programs to reach more targeted people in a quick way. The third one, these bundling aspects are likely to improve social and livelihood outcomes for communities. The third, so those are the three typical, why the reasons the bundle or bundles are so important. So now we've been talking about, bundles. So what gets typically bundled? So we bundle knowledge products. And here we abbreviate them as KP. So under the knowledge products, we get climate information services, climate smart agriculture, recommendations. It could be early warning services, etc. But remember, these are products or knowledge products. So the second one is consumables. So this is abbreviated as C. So under the consumables, I've just listed a number of examples that fall under this category of consumables. These are certified seed, fertilizer, chemical inputs, etc. Third one is financial services. Under the financial services, the list is long, but we have provided 3 examples here: the microloans, insurance products, the banking, etc. So the last one of what gets typically bundled is physical services. And here you have anything related to the equipment that can be used for the mechanization practices, the milling machines, solar panels, all those they fall under the physical services. So in a brief, we have 4 categories of product services that get bundled together under climate information services and climate smart agriculture business models. At this level, I wanted to hear from participants. Maybe you can show your, if you're okay, through charts, you know, or wave or thumbs up. You know, I can see we are 120, so I'm glad that everybody is there. Yeah. So now, once we have seen the products that gets typically worth, so we need to know the strategic, the combinations that are actually indeed good. So I can see people with their thumbs up. You keep doing so. So the strategies are that, you know, we could have loans versus climate data. And this could actually help empower farmers with crucial data for informed decisions. And of course, enhance the repayment capacity. Yeah, but the list that I'm providing here, keep it in mind, is not exhaustive. So the strategies could be endless, or the list could be not be exhaustive. So the second strategy is insurance versus climate information services, and this actually helps for more precise risk assessment and facilitate timely payouts, and also avoid maybe, you know, disputes. Yeah. So the third one is insurance for credit access. This increases farmer credit worthiness, thereby unlocking greater access to essential credit facilities. So for the strategy of combination, to have a bundle, I've actually given or provided these 3 examples. We have, this is the provides examples, again, for strategic, you know, bundling combination of innovation. So here, the key innovation that I choose is the new potato variety. So someone providing this innovation in potato or this new variety, so they are complementary innovations. And these complementary innovation indeed are what? Are bundles. You could see them as activities, but those are the services that are additional or complementary to this innovation. So for the potato, you could have a longer list, but for the sake of this presentation, I've got 4. So the first one being updated pest management practices. So the second one being novel plowing and ridging techniques. So certification and qualifying and and quality control systems, adopted weed control practice, and business model for extension. So those are indeed elements that are needed to complement the innovation that we provide. So this is another way, another kind of bundling services to one core innovation. In this case, is a new potato variety. So I have another example of horticultural marketplace innovation. So the complementary innovations could be access to internet. So the provision of internet could be, if you have anyone is referring to marketplace. So cell phones, they don't only go around. They have accessories, chargers, electric power. So they need to be charged. So the other one could be sales policies, contracts, certification and quality controls. So these are other complementary innovations that are needed actually to complement the core innovation. And in here, it's horticultural market innovations. Now, the other aspects that we treat, those bundles, we have them, but we need to scale them. But what are the modalities of scaling these bundles? So the first one, or the key broker through the scaling process are trusted services. So these trusted services are the services that have been there. So we need to know which services are most trusted in communities, so that we can use them to indeed scale the bundles. So this is again the modality for scaling. Other ones are trusted agents, and then trusted products and direct provision. So, and this here, this slide explains in details trusted services, which is indeed a service-led bundling. And here we are using an example of crop insurance. So in this approach, the main services is offered to consumer along with attractive bundles, including inputs, local climate information services, and the climate smart agriculture recommendations. And in this service, a trusted service often crop insurance or credit is offered first in the bundle. So it has, this is the core one. So other ones are additional. So the trusted services could be the most reliable, the most trusted services around this crop insurance. So if you want to scale your bundle, this could be the way to go. So the second one, illustration, is the trusted products. In this approach, climate information services and climate smart agriculture advice is bundled with farm inputs like seeds, fertilizer, chemicals, pumps, and solar. Yeah, so this is one of the products that we need. So you need to know the most trusted products. So, and then you can use it to actually indeed bundle or scale your products. So the other one is the trusted agents. And we are using the example of crop insurance again. So, but here, this one involves most likely or very often extension workers, agribusiness specialists, agro dealers, NGOs, and end groups recommend climate information service and climate solutions along with other key products. So this is the modalities on how we scale bundled business products or services. So the last one is direct provision. The direct provision, the service or services are delivered directly to the farmers with payment from farmer trusted agent. So in this service, you just get money and you go, you pay it, you cash it. So those are the 4 modalities for scaling bundled services or products. So how bundles are delivered? So trusted services, remember in one of my slides, I said knowledge products, and I said that the abbreviation is KP. So trusted service, you find that they are very often, delivered as a knowledge product. Financial services, the FS is the financial services, and then the PS is product services. No, physical services, sorry. So the trusted products, you find most of them are what? Are consumables. And here they are actually referred to as C. And then trusted agents, you find them across the 4 services and products that get bundled. And then in provision, they are also across. So any wave or SAPAP, I want to see if you are still active, but I can see 121, 22, 23, the numbers are going up. So happy to see you and continue. Good, fantastic. So now here I want to invite. So I've discussed the bundles about climate information services, climate smart agriculture practices, and other services. But we want to see, are these services, are these bundles, or the provision of all of these bundles allow farmers to do what? To anticipate, prepare, respond, and recover from climate shocks in our regions, climate risks, climate variability, and other hazards, in our days are very prominent. And indeed, whatever we do, we would like to see if all this they can indeed support people to anticipate, to prepare, and respond, recover from climate shocks. So next slides, I'll be indeed discussing in details what this anticipation, preparation, response, and recovery they mean, for better understanding. So anticipation or anticipate is indeed to proactively identify and assess climate risk assessment, and it has key actions. The first one is risk and vulnerability assessment. The second one would be seasonal and long-term climate forecast, early warning systems, and remote sensing work, community knowledge and integration. So Dr. Mathieu Ouedraogo, in the past session, has presented climate information services, climate smart agriculture practices. Here, I don't want to repeat it, but I wanted actually to discuss these key words and relate them to the bundles, and so that we can actually see the bundles that we are providing are actually playing a key role around anticipation. The 4 elements that I've highlighted. So the second one is the be prepared, So thanks the readiness to withstand climate shocks. And key actions that we found here, the first one is to develop contingency and adaptation plans. The second one is build the climate smart infrastructure. The third one is capacity building for institutional and communities. And then risk, financing, and insurance mechanisms. If you remember all well, most of our bundles, they have all these components. So if our bundles are good, so they could be containing some of these elements in the bundles. So, and then public awareness campaigns. So all these are actions under the preparation. So the other one is the recovery. This is just to restore systems and strengths and strengthen the resilience. So actually, the resilience component for this for it to happen, these 4 elements of the bad thing. So these 4 components that involves anticipation, preparation, response, and recover are actually elements of the resilience. So I'm going back to the resilience, and sorry for taking you back, but I wanted to show this. So the actions are under recover, policy review, continuous learning, rebuild the infrastructure of climate spirit in mind, psychological support for affected population, and then livelihood support and recovery. Those are actually key actions that people consider during for the recovery. So this is the summary. Oh, yeah, there is also this response that I had actually forgotten. So the key actions on the response, activated agency response. Yeah, first damage, and then you know. So this is the mess up. So this response actually should have come like number 3. So the recovery is the last one. Yeah. Okay, so now this is the summary. I just put this for the sake and because this presentation actually should be submitted, should be given to participants. And this is the summary of the resilience steps. Anticipate, prepare, respond, and recover. So I'm glad that now the sequence of these 4 steps is here respected. Yeah, so now this is the second component of the presentation of this session. And here we are going to be discussing the benefits of bundled climate information services and climate smart agriculture. The benefits that we anticipate is indeed convenience. Convenience, why? Because it provides an idea of one-stop center where several products and services are acquired at once. So this is one actually of the benefits of bundled climate information services and climate smart agriculture business models. So the second one is to help indeed reduce costs through, taking down costs related to logistics, the outreach systems, their price, the overall price, they become lower. So those are the main benefits that the bundles are bringing. So, and then the advantages of having a bundle or bundles that are coordinated, is that costs are going to be lowered. We definitely go down if bundles are well, done. The second one, there is a huge, possibility that the use is likely to increase. The other one is leveraging on existing products. So bundling aims to create climate smart value addition, more agricultural productivity, the resilience of farmers, and then as well as climate change mitigation. So, an effective bundle solutions, it has to be very effective and impactful. Solutions, products that are offered must possess the characteristics that I'm going actually to list below. The first one, this bundle has to be available. So the availability is so important, but not only to be available, it needs to be readily accessible to all target farmers where they need them. So maybe the keyword is readily available for this bundle to be called effective. So the second one, it has to be affordable. So the price should be reasonable to ensure a broad adoption and economic viability for farmers. So those are the main one, availability and affordability of the bundle solution for them to be effective. The third one, the bundles should be accessible. The accessibility is one, but there should be also an easy understanding of the bundle. So the understanding means there should be a package related to capacity building. So implement and implement diverse family that in this the capacity building, it has to be actually implemented across diverse community family, not targeting only one specific group of people. Yeah. So the last one, the quality is also so important. So we need to provide a reliable, effective, and impactful results that indeed is tailored to people's needs or to farmers' needs. So the quality is so important. So those are the four characteristics of an effective bundle solution. So the third aspect of this session is that it involves indeed the cooperation and the competition. Those are the keywords, but then we have time indeed to explain them in details. Cooperation plus competition. Oh, sorry, cooperation plus competition. We actually give this keyword that we say competition. So competition is simply as working with competitors toward a shared goal. So please take it simple. Competition is indeed working with competitors toward a shared goal. So I will have a chance to explain them in details. So competition helps to reduce costs and unlock opportunities. Organizations share costs for research and development, market entry, and service delivery. The competition helps to make climate resilient solutions more affordable, accessible. They also help unlock the full potential of bundled agricultural products and services. The competition is indeed bundling is rooted in competition, and because it encourages collaboration among competing innovators and solution providers, enables sharing of resources, support joint innovation. It reduces operational redundancies, collective efficiencies that can lead to significant cost saving. It enables the provision of providers to offer lower prices, maintain profitability despite lower pricing. It minimizes also individual overhead costs through cooperation, passes saving on to farmers, creates competitive pricing advantage, maintains value without compromise. So all this I've highlighted them. So again, it helps to lower the purchase cost. Farmers can buy bundled products cheaper than buying each one separately, which helps small-scale farmers with tight budget. And this is indeed, I will have a chance to give examples, maybe to make this clear. The other one, discounted prices. So bundling lets farmers get high-value services and inputs at lower cost through volume discounts. So competition is when competing farmers work together to lower cost, access services, or improve their market positions. You may think that this is it's a repetition, but this is a bit specific now to the farmers. Why it matters? It allows resources and risk sharing. All farmers face common challenges. So now these are examples from across Africa that show the competition among farmers. So this is an example of shared machinery use in Kenya and India. So what happens is that farmers form groups to jointly buy or lease expensive farm equipment like tractors, planters, and threshers. They schedule shared use during this season. So this is a strategy for them actually to overcome what they may not do individually. So although the benefits are the access to mechanization without full ownership cost. Can you imagine a farmer, smallholder farmer buying a tractor or a planter? The price could be very prohibitive. But through this approach, it helps them actually to afford it. Then the second one, compete individually at harvest, but cooperate on inputs. So what happens? So they share, or they actually come together on shared goals, but then the harvest is individual because everyone has a farm. So the productivity, the quality, everything else, it's not a matter of the group. So this is how it is. They compete individually at harvest, but cooperate on inputs, such as the example of machinery. So I have another example with joint marketing aggregation on beans and maize farmers in Rwanda, Uganda. So in here, farmers form cooperatives and marketing groups, bulk the harvest for better pricing and market access. They compete in equality, but they still sell together to reach large buyers. And here, the example is the World Food Program and the other big traders. So the benefits are that transport cost is reduced, stronger bargaining power, access to for more markets. So why competition around here? So they are competing, everyone to have more yield or good quality, but they come together on these three aspects. which is to have access to market. Yeah, and it increases their bargaining power. Okay, key lessons from this competition. Farmers can overcome barriers that are too big to face alone. Competition, it is also a way to survive and thrive in competitive climate-based agriculture. Competition remains in on production or sales, but collaboration in logistics, inputs, and knowledge. So this is how to work in this community of farmers. So I will be embarking to the last component of this session, and this is about successful bundle the climate information services. Can you hear me? I want to confirm. Abel?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Fantastic. So I was saying that this company is about sharing information on successful bundle CIS-CSA and their outcomes. The key examples that I'll give two examples. One example is an example from Ethiopia of a company called Lesha. Then the second one is an example of Isoko from Ghana. Indeed, to demonstrate, success of bundling, and this work was indeed done under AICCRA. So this is Lesha. Lesha, it is indeed an innovative agricultural platform in Ethiopia that has demonstrated remarkable success in empowering smallholder farmers through bundled services and products. Its impact is evident, and it has actually metrics of the growth that they have gone through. So the Lesha services are four. The first one is farm inputs and the mechanization. The second, facilitating aggregators to be part of the whole process. And indeed, have agroclimate advisory developed, and these agroclimate advisory are tailored to location specific and people's needs, so that people can make informed decisions in their daily activities. And then the fourth one is the finance and the insurance. So I didn't mention the metrics. So more than 100,000 farmers are registered on this platform. 216 business partners have been reached, and actually they are partnering with Lesha. Products, around 5 of them have been developed. They have more than 1,000 agents across Ethiopia. And these agents, it's a job creation. They are working, delivering the services. So it's huge. And they are operating under 16.6 million bill. So this is indeed, and how it works, it's a one-stop digital hub for smallholder farmers. And then these smallholder farmers get advisory content on the climate smart agriculture solutions, weather information, And they facilitate them need to have agri-credit, agri-insurance. So on the left picture shows, it's an infographics that shows how the process is done, how everything is done. And then the other infographics on the right shows indeed the matrix that I've explained in the previous slide. So the second successful business model that I wanted to share is AICCRA. So AICCRA has the main product is the climate information services that's being disseminated across Ghana. And this AICCRA, it's a public-private partnership, is using this model in Ghana, and it has indeed shown to be very successful in terms of bundle strategy, in terms of integrating visual services to empower smallholder farmers and enhance, agricultural resilience, household resilience, and individual resilience. So they bundle services such as climate information services, crop insurance, climate smart agriculture recommendations, market information, and life insurance. So their metrics that was actually obtained through a survey that was conducted is that 1% of farmers paid for climate information services for the first month these services was introduced. 100% continued to be engaged, or they expressed the desire to continue receiving climate information services. And then there's this also willingness for farmers to pay at least 1 cedi per month for climate information services. The scaling impact is that through a pilot program that involved 1,000 farmers, AICCRA, indeed, from this small pilot, they expanded to 300,000 farmers. So this shows indeed how this business model effective is in terms of outreach and adoption. It is also inclusive in terms of communication. 2% or nearly, it's actually nearly 53% of farmers have been recognized that are illiterate, and they will prefer to have a well-designed, compatible digital technology, and they prefer the voice messages and call center. And these messages or the content was recommended to be indeed in their local language. So the takeaways from this session presentation is that pre-competition, research and development. Maybe here I should remind that the competition starts from competition. So people, they do their own research development individually, but at the end, when it comes to the scaling, so they come together when they think that their interest or their needs, or they have common shared interest. So this pre-competition research and development around climate information services and climate smart agriculture bundles was seen to be important for making them ready to scale. Strong business networks are needed to bundle services effectively. So the model that Lesha, with its agents, with its business partners, this indeed was to increase their business networks. With these intermediaries along the value chain of the Lesha business model is likely to sustain the business and the business to run on its own or to be effective. So so for business models to be sustainable, they also need to have multiple revenue streams. So if we start with one revenue stream, there's likelihood that anything may happen. To be sustainable, it's good that you have so many, activities that are indeed generating, revenues. So sustainable implementation of bundled services needs support for both policy level and technical and user capacity. So a business that actually is aligning with national or local policies is likely to be supported or contributing to the national strategies or development strategies is likely to be getting the support needed. And this is likely also to propel its development. So with this, my presentation ends here, and I would like to invite for questions, comments. That's why I've got some times, and if you allow me, Pambo, I'm done at this level. I would like to hand it over to you for moderating the next sessions. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Desiree. Please, let's use our digital hands to give a round of applause. Use all the tools to, yes, warm down for this wonderful presentation. Very insightful. Thank you very much. Please. Thank you, Dr. Desiree. I would like to invite you to raise your digital hands if you have a comment or a question. And we take a set of 3 questions, we answer them, and then we take another set of 3 questions, if that's okay with you. So we start with the first set. And yes, I can see Cheer Pigeon. Yes, please. I'm sure your mic will be allowed to ask your question or make your comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for tonight. I hope you are cutting me.
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if Doctor is ready to jot down maybe the questions so that you'll be able to answer later.
Okay, thank you so much for the nice presentation, and especially for the aspect of bundling CIS and CSA. It's very key, it's very important. And the presentation has come out with very key and innovative ways. Could be probably something that I did not get from the facilitator on the aspect of the use of indigenous knowledge or traditional community. I want to give an example. Right now, I'm in a remote place in Kenya called West Pokot, where there's a group of pastoralists where the rain and the climate issues is really affecting this place. It is Asal region. That is something that I learned with the use of indigenous knowledge. Yes, we talk of the internet, technology, and the rest. But in some parts of the country or in some other places in Africa, sometimes internet is an issue. However, there is something that I wanted to touch on, the aspect of use of indigenous or traditional knowledge. In this place, there are clustered houses, which are the way the nomads, they are clustered. So in this case, there is no internet, but they have got some kind of mobile aspect. However, the internet is a problem. But this is what the community has done. In the clustered centers, they have come up with a center where they are, because their livelihood is on pastoralism. So you'll find that in this a small cluster, we have got somebody who is a veterinarian. There is a marketplace for the products. There is a place where there is an agricultural extension officers. However, the use of internet is a problem, but the bundling issue is there. So it could be our presenter in terms of could be industrial land. How can we integrate the indigenous knowledge in this aspect?
Yeah, it was both a comment and a question. I don't know if Doctor have been able to capture this question.
Yes, I captured the question. So maybe you can allow more people to.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any digital hands up for the moment. If you have any comments, any question about this session, please kindly raise your digital hands and you'll be allowed to talk.
Maybe as we wait for the.
I see some questions in the chat box. Que pouvez-vous conseiller pour essayer d'adapter le système d'entreprise ESOCO ou les chats dans nos pays respectifs? Que proposer, c'est une question de Rossi Sialambala. Que pouvez-vous nous conseiller pour essayer d'adapter le système d'entreprise ESOCO ou les chats dans nos pays respectifs?
Est-ce que tu peux demander à la personne d'indiquer le pays d'où il vient? Par rapport à la question.
Je pense que Rossi nous écoute. Rossi, vous pouvez écrire dans le chat ou lever la main pour prendre la parole. Vous intervenez depuis quel pays? Rossi, you ask your question in French. We would like to know from where, which country are you joining us from?
DRC. Likely DRC.
Le temps peut-être, ok, super, DRC. La troisième question vient de Effet Parlac. Is there any project about dried fruit, vegetables, or meat, fish? Ça fait trois questions. Il y a une quatrième qui est là, on va la prendre et on va fermer ce premier set de questions. There is the last question that we are going to take and close this first set of questions so that Dr. Desiree can give some clues or answers. So the last one is, to what extent this approach is feasibly applied other than Ethiopia and Ghana? Thank you very much. Please feel free to jot your question down or raise your digital hands if you would like to speak. You are welcome. Thank you.
Can I respond?
Yes, please go ahead with responses.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for all the questions that are so interesting. The first question was related to how can we make sure that the indigenous knowledge is integrated in the whole process? So the bundling aspect, actually, one of its main core principles is to build everything on the indigenous knowledge. So the tailoring, whatever we do to people's needs, so it involves to a larger extent the inclusion of indigenous knowledge. So if you don't know people's context, it will be hard to actually provide an information that is tailored, an information that is specific to location, that is specific to people's knowledge. So it is in this process that the bundling component is actually integrating the aspect of indigenous knowledge. So in one of the in ISOCO example, they have highlighted that 56% of people are illiterate, and they made a clear request that whatever information, whatever content is developed or is targeting them should be in their native language and should be voice, so that it can actually meet their requirements. So this is how the process actually integrates this aspect of indigenous knowledge. Yeah, so we know, so the aspect of digital penetration, it's not everywhere. The challenges are still here and there, especially in rural places. So, but then again, with this process of bundling several aspects, so the bundling involves knowledge products, involves financial products, involves the consumables, and under the knowledge, so we have the digital tools, and this digital tool does not only limit to smartphones, and does not limit only to these heavy machineries. So the bundling actually, in a larger extent, covers all of these aspects, and it's a good approach actually to apply, so that we unlock all these aspects of places that have less access to digital, penetration. And so when it comes to the question of how successful examples that we presented can be also, reach other countries, maybe they do exist, but the only aspect is that people are not aware that they exist, that they are providing packaged or bundled services. But in a study that we conducted, it's a review study, we reviewed more than 30 business models that are around climate information services, climate smart agriculture practices, and other services such as agricultural services. So we find that these businesses they cut across Africa. They exist, but they are not necessarily, known to the people, to the common people. And people do the bundling, but some of them are not even aware that they are doing bundling. But to some extent, it exists. But then, to be concrete, so AICCRA, it has also been actually implementing and supporting these business models to be in 5 countries, Mali, Senegal, Ghana, Zambia, Kenya, Ethiopia, and this process has also spillover countries, and this indeed could also extend, to other countries by, tapping into, businesses that are there and promote them and allow them actually to grow in different ways. So this is the response I can actually give around this. And okay. The question related to dry fruits and fish. Well, we have had an opportunity in Zambia to have climate services or climate information services for fisheries in Zambia. So we went to a place deeper called Mwanza, and we developed a business model around fisheries. The fruits in Senegal and in Ghana, if I don't remember mistaken, and there's also another project, that's targeting specific, commodities such as these fruits, fishes. So the project exists, targeting specific commodities. Yeah, the bean research program that CIAT or the Alliance for Bioversity through its Pan-African bean research programs is also promoting, an approach where the business corridors or bean corridors, and these corridors actually are around, aggregators. Aggregators are linked to bean producers, and then the aggregators are also linked to a larger market at the country level, regional level. So, and they don't only use one bean product, they rather also package so many things. So the businesses such as that, they do exist. So the last question was to what extent, all these successful examples that I presented are physically in Africa. I think I've attempted to respond to this question. So I don't think I need to expand more. So yeah, with this, I welcome more questions. Over to you, Bobo. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this answer, Doctor. We will directly take Oni Oluwa Yebisi. Please ask your question.
Yeah, good afternoon. I am speaking from Nigeria, and I really want to say it's a great job to the presenter and also to this program, the organizer. Thank you so much. My question is, I want to ask, you were talking about the collaboration of different countries. I didn't see Nigeria, and I want to ask, to what extent is Nigeria really collaborating with other countries? Because you made us to know some of the public and private, this AICCRA, is a public and private program, something like that, making things becoming easier for farmers. So if it's the mindset of that particular program, how is Nigeria, are we really doing very well with all the countries? I want to ask the presenter. I want to ask him. I want to know, to what extent is Nigeria really collaborating with other African countries? Because I don't know, they were not mentioned. So I want to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Oni. Then we are going to take some of these questions in the chat. The second one is how does sustainable implementation of bundled services get support from the policy level? Then the third one is bundling climate information services with other services can enhance adoption, but how can this approach remain effective when CIS component is too generalized and does not accurately reflect local climatic conditions in the target region? Then, of course, on this question, there is a comment saying that nowadays we have site-specific weather advisories, but I will leave the discretion to the presenter to give his own explanation.
Okay.
So,
by
yeah,
time or still.
please go ahead.
Okay, well, I will start with the Nigeria. Okay. Nigeria, indeed, maybe it's a well represented, and it did not. It's unfortunate that I just used 2 examples. I wish I could have more examples, but for the sake of this presentation, that was not possible. But I will just highlight a few examples of Nigeria because I know them. I've been there, so we have been lucky to work in Nigeria in 10 states. So Adamawa everywhere 10, and myself have been there, and the activities actually were around climate services, climate smart agricultural practices, business models. So it is there, and the several ministries are engaged, involved. National Agricultural Research Systems are also involved. The Nigeria Met Services is also involved. So Nigeria is well, I would say, it's well placed, not in all in this process of bundle business models. So they also have private companies. I would actually mention one of them being Aluvio. It's one of the corporates that has hundreds of cooperatives across the 10 states in Nigeria, and actually they are applying all these business models. And this Aluvio headquarters actually is in Abuja. So, and this question actually was very specific to Nigeria, and I'm glad to. I would like that I've had an experience in Nigeria, otherwise I could be done. So, when it comes to other questions that were raised, the sustainability and how policies in different countries can support. So for indeed a business model to be sustainable, there should be a very conducive, environment. One of the key ingredients of this conducive environment is policy. So if policies are very effective, if policies are conducive, so businesses are likely also to shape and sustain. And then if a business model is also contributing towards, increasing people's livelihood, so on its own, it's easy for the business also to continue. And then I also mentioned during my presentation that the network that a business model builds is so important for the business model to sustain. And this is the example of Leisure, where they have more than 100 partners or business partners to run, some of their services, products. And then the agents that are over thousands, the job that they are creating. So those are actually indeed, you can't do that if you don't have the policy support. So for any business model to sustain, so it has to be aligned and fit well to the system, to the context, including the policy of specific countries. And then about the businesses that are very general, and okay, that could be, everyone has a model, and the business, to be called a business, it has to have revenues. So if they are they are general, and that businesses actually, bring them revenues. That could be fantastic. But remember, this session was about climate information services, climate smart agriculture, business models. And these models actually are very specific and not general. So for the provision of climate information services, we try to be as much as we can in terms of being in terms of geographies. So we try to bring climate information that is context and location specific. And the advisories that we are bringing to the people who are in need are advisories that are also context specific, tailored to people's needs. So I think, I'm not sure if I missed any other question, but at this level, I want to hand over to Bubbles. Back to you, Bubble.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad to
Thank you
be
very
answering
much.
questions. Yeah, good.
Please keep sending your digital claps and make a sign that we are together. It's important. Please keep sending it. And then we are going to take a bundled set of questions shared by Suleiman Abdurrahman. First, how do value chains influence the choice of a business model for climate information services and climate smart agriculture? Secondly, which business models have proven most suitable in low-income rural settings? Third, how do private sector actors like telecom, insurers, import suppliers, and others benefit from climate information services and climate smart agriculture bundling? And the fourth question is, how can digital platforms improve the scalability and affordability of climate information services and climate smart agriculture bundles? Thank you. Since it's a bundled set of 4 questions, I would suggest that we answer them and continue afterwards with Aruna and Bashirada. Doctor, please, you have the floor.
You will think questions, where are they? They are on the chat.
On the chat, yes. From Suleiman.
Okay, for Suleiman. Okay, I can see them. How do you value chains influence the choice of businesses model? Oh, fantastic. Okay. So for a business, we actually refer to a value chain systems. So where we unpack the segments or nodes of specific value chain that the model is targeting. So once you have these segments, and then you understand what are the issues around every segment of the value chain. So from there, a business actually can be shaped, can be developed based on that. So it is so crucial that a business model should indeed, use this approach of value chain. So we need to have first the identification of stakeholders who are involved, the most influential stakeholders who should not be part of the process, who should be there, who are the most vulnerable people, groups, and who are we targeting. For this to happen, so the value chain, it has to be actually the core, and it should be the beginning of any other businesses. So, which business models have proven most sustainable in low-income rural settings? Well, the business model that has been proven to be sustainable in low income is a business that involves government, private, donor, and involving the beneficiaries or the target people. So this business is likely to sustain. But as you remove one of the 4 components, of the 4 partners, you find that the businesses or the business is likely to go down. So that repeated government, private donor, and the key beneficiaries, that's the business model that is actually likely to sustain for smallholder farmers. Why governments? Because the government is likely to be there for the interest of the vulnerable people who are the low-income people. So why donor? They may be also there to support the process at the beginning. So why private? Some of the businesses could emerge along the whole process, and then private people could pick them from there. And I will again use the Russia example, where the business partners got involved, agents got involved. So these agents that are more than 1,000 across Russia business model, they are likely not to stop. So this is how this kind of business model is the most likely to sustain, but it's not a must. So there are several variabilities, but this is what we have seen to be shaping well. The other question is that okay. How do private sector telecom insurance, suppliers, benefits from? Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, this is a win-win situation. Nobody actually can join any business model if they don't have any profit or benefits. So that's why actually most of the businesses that people have been attempting even before, it's because we have some of these actors don't see their direct interest being involved. And so the telecommunication insurers and the input suppliers are, they need their money is selling, and smallholder farmers are the buyers. So to sustain that is to build the capacity of farmers. So the capacity of farmers is to increase their income, so their productivity has to be higher. So when it comes to insurers, so private information services is if it is the insurance based on climate index or indexed insurance systems, so they need to have climate information that is reliable. So they have to work hand in hand with the National Meteorological Agency to have localized climate information services, and then they need also to have contracts with farmers and others. So and then their businesses is likely also, to go to this area. Insurance companies have been actually they have been reluctant to go into this business because the risks are very high. Yeah, when working together with the government, with the farmers and everything, so this can actually support them. So it's a new potential market for them. So the telecommunication companies, okay, they're likely to expand their clients. So if we create a WhatsApp group, or if we keep a huge number of farmers on a specific telecom company, because we are providing climate information services, because everybody is registered to their line. So this, it's a business model that can indeed that it's profitable to the telecom house. They may not see the revenues direct revenues, but the indirect, keeping these people on their line. So it's a huge thing. And I think that they can actually gain more, although they have been reluctant to supply, information such as climate information services, even though in some of these countries, it is recommended that the climate information is a public information. So this could be actually delivered for free, but it has not happened in this way. So the private sector, they can really benefit from this, and in countries such as in many countries. So business investment blueprints have been developed actually, and then call for private people to come and invest in these climate smart agriculture blueprints. So this is another process. So it is investable business, it's a profitable business. So the last one, which is how can digital platform improve the scalability and affordability? For sure, the digital tools nowadays, the penetration of internet, the penetration of phones across Africa. I don't have the numbers, but I think it's over 50%, if not more, but it's over 50. So with these numbers of people having these digital tools to use them, that could be the wonderful communication channel to apply. The only thing that we need is to tailor the information, the content, to be very specific, specific in terms of language, specific in terms of text, specific in terms targeting everybody, whoever has a smartphone, whoever has a small gadget, and then and then considering also the level of literacy. So those are aspects that we need to consider. So the digital tools, the digital platforms are indeed the best platform to take this information to the last mile users. So I think this is what I can say on these 4 questions from Suleiman. Thank you. Over to you, Pablo.
Thank you very much. That was a kind, really bundled set of questions. Please give a round of applause. Send your digital answer out so that we see that we are together. Your thumbs ups, your claps. Thank you very much. I would like to thank also Rosie, Juliana, Ifeoluwa, who asked their questions in the chat box. But in the meantime, we are going to start with Aruna Yahaya, then Bashi Adam will ask their questions. Then we'll follow with those questions in the chat. So please, Aruna, you have the floor to ask your questions or make your comment.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Dr. Josere Kakobo, good afternoon. All protocols are duly observed. My name is Haruna Yahya Abdullahi from Capital City University, Kano, Nigeria. So I really appreciate your knowledge, your teaching, your insights. My question is about the context of our country here, Nigeria. I learned that for this business model to prosper, we need a synergy between industry experts, the investors, policymakers, government stakeholders, local and the large-scale farmers. However, in the context of our country, we have this sense of disconnection between farmers, the government, and the investors and business partners, thinking that our farming system is tailored towards satisfying the benefit of farmers without society and the country in focus. Nowadays, our policymakers and the government are now preferring even importing certain agro products to the country, not minding to cater for supporting our farmers and the farming system to prosper and satisfy the country. So I don't know, sir, what would you suggest and what insights would you give in order to bring a synergy between these elements of our agricultural production and the business survival? Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aruna. Bashi, please, you can take over.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Facilitator. Bashir Adam is my name. I'm a Sudanese working for National Research Institute in Sudan and joining you from Kampala, Uganda. So thank you, Mr. Presenter, for this informative and educative presentation. And thank you also for sharing this valuable information and sharing the business models for CIS and CSA to scale and promote and transport, agriculture in our countries. We hope that also these models which you presented for Ghana and Ethiopia could be repeated in other countries. But here, the challenge of this kind of models is how to scale it for more or further farmers, not those included, but those who are not yet joining, not only farmers, but also the other agents. And here we can talk about how to build trust among the farmers and from the other agents who is not yet joining. What are the key activities that we should do to bring those into the already built models? What are the key principal indicators that we should study to enhance us to overscale or upscale those models to other farmers? Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Facilitator.
Thank you, Bashir Adam. I see a hand from Felicia that looks to be the only hand up. So please, Felicia, go ahead, and then we continue. We give the floor to Doctor for answers. Felicia Iboga, if you are getting us, yes, please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, and
Good afternoon.
very timely presentation and very impactful. The question I just want to ask, because most of the climate information services I've been listening to from a doctor, they talk more on the crop aspect. So I want to ask questions about the fishery, especially our small scale fisheries. That's their major occupation. So, and it's really affecting them now, at all the value chain, the fishers, the processors and the marketers. So how do we help them at these climate information services and the climate smart agriculture? How can we incorporate them so that they don't suffer? Because right now they have issues, even in the Nigerian aspect, the small scale fishery sector. So how do we incorporate them? How do we help them? Because that's their livelihood. Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Felicia. Please, Doctor, if you are ready, you have the floor to answer this set of questions, and then we continue afterwards to those which are in the chat box, and this will lead us to the end of our session. So please, you have the floor. Remember that we have a post-test assessment, and then we share with you a link to the community of practice for those who have been participating to this webinar. So please, Doctor, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much. So I will indeed be back on the question from Haruna. Yeah, so I wish you could have shared, because you may be more knowledgeable than I do when it comes to the synergies of experts, between all the stakeholders, all the actors around the climate information services, climate smart agriculture models, So yeah, what I would say is that the dissemination and everything else is just to bring all these people, all these actors together. And one key element for a business model to sustain, to happen, so every actor should see profit in that business, should see benefits, not immediate, but in a short time. So if this aspect of business, of profit, of benefits, it's not, there, so you may not have all this on board. So if I discuss the aspect of the government should be seeing all this. So a business that is aligning with policies, that is supporting the implementation of what the government has planned. That business is likely to be actually taken with two hands, is likely to be welcomed. And then, so the private sector, they have their own priorities. And then we need to actually understand those priorities and to show where it's possible to invest and how to do that in a strategic way. And then the strategic way is to show their interest, is to show their benefits in short, long term, so they will come on board. But the strategies are there, so many publications are there. I don't have a document to share with you on how actually to bring these synergies together. But the example of Lesha is there. Although I'm not saying that Lesha does not have the issues, but the model helps indeed to tackle the issues that are emerging and move on in a positive way and sustain the business. So this is the response actually I can indeed for the time being provide to my colleague from Nigeria. But we stand to have more discussions in the future in different platforms or in different ways. So the other question is from Bashir. So maybe this question is it needs a special station because it is targeting, key indicators to upscale. So we have developed a model for scaling climate information services, climate smart bundled business models. And this, I wish maybe I would share this to the chat, so it can be one of the materials that can be used. But for the time being, it will be hard for me to actually highlight all these indicators to scale, geographically, so there are several ways of doing this. and encourage him to actually, and colleagues and everyone else who would like to have this interest, to actually look at this document that has been published, and have a very good framework for scaling, bundled climate information, bundled CIS and CSA business models. So then the question from Felicia related to small scale fisheries projects. So I mentioned sometime earlier in one of the questions on how AICCRA has been providing climate information services for fisheries. So when I make this statement, fisheries, climate information services for fisheries, it's an information that is very specific to the fisheries. And these fisheries are actually smallholder farmers. Those are ponds. So we develop advisories to fisheries or to fish farmers and then targeting the fisheries businesses or business value chain. So the farming of business of fish has also a value chain. So the first thing is to unpack the value chain. So the first thing, how do you make your pond? Where do you make your pond? And then there are advisories around there. The second thing, where do you get your seeds from? How do you grow them? What are the specific conditions related to weather and the climate information? A fish needs from egg to small ones to those who are ready to be harvested. So we provide specific climate information, and the material is there, is available. We can actually share that. So in Senegal, they also have that. So I may not really highlight that as well in this one, but I just use this example. So the bad thing is that this information exists, but in silos. So we need to scale it. So this is another challenge that actually we accept, and we are ready actually to support with all the means within our means. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. While we were taking the hands up, we had already in the chat questions from Rossi, from Juliana, and from Ifeoluwa. For the sake of time, I would suggest that you take and address those 3 questions. And for the rest, we are going to discuss further in our committee of practice. We are really sorry. Thank you very much for your interactive participation. And yes, we look forward to have more engagement with you guys. Doctor, please, for the Rossi question, it's in French. Peut-on, si dans le chat box, it's within the chat box. Peut-on, si possible, avoir accès au modèle de plan d'affaires en question, en titre d'exemple?
Well, it's possible. C'est possible ce sont des modèles qu'on peut répliquer ici et là, à condition que les conditions soient complémentaires. Mais ce sont des modèles qui sont applicables partout. Donc, je confirme que cela est possible. Merci.
D'accord. Thank you.
Peut-être, maybe I can also actually, this year has detailed question by saying targeting fishes in the sea. So I will give examples about about advisories that are tailored to fishermen in seas and everywhere. So there's this program of WISA led by FCDO, and met office. And this project was indeed a project that was being implemented in East Africa, targeting fishermen in Lake Victoria. So the objective was to provide early warning systems targeting the fishermen. So this project has been so successful, and now this program has been continuing. I will use also another example. You know, it is also another project that is being implemented, and now the project has been I mean, the actions for this project are now part of the national ecosystem. And this is Rwanda, like Kivu, targeting again the fishermen. And not only the fishermen, people also using the sea as transport route, road, way. So those exist, and we have got references. So it's a matter of indeed making sure that we tailor them to specific context or location or geographies. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like the technical team, if you could please share the post-assessment so that participants could start filling the question. A big thank to our presenters, Dr. Desiree. It was a very insightful presentation and a very interactive session with enthusiastic participants. I would like to thank in the background Liz Obutu, who is doing a wonderful work in the chat. Thank you, Liz. And I would also like to thank the FARA colleagues, Alan, Prince, also Christabel, that are working behind the scene for this to be at this level. Thank you very much for your participation. Remember, the link will be shared for you to join the community of practice of practitioners in this domain. And remember also to register for the next session that will be on the November 25th, same time. So thank you again. Please react to the post-assessment. It's very important to understand how far we gone. We started the process. It's really interesting to see if we grab something, if maybe all what we see here is already known, or we got really something new that we have a takeaway that we can apply in our own conditions at home. So please, yeah, keep feeling. We are 23%. Keep feeling it, please. In the meantime, I would like you to give a final round of applause for this presentation. If you enjoyed the session, if you got insightful information, please use your digital clubs, your digital, anything that you have to show that you've been really, you got something interesting from this session. "28 people, over 100, please send claps, send hearts. Keep filling the post assessment. The recordings will be shared with you guys. For me, it's been a pleasure to be with you today to moderate this session. You've been wonderful participants, very interactive. I loved it. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everybody. It was a pleasure having everyone around. Thank you.